What can I say about Dr. Dre? The public, we've had a front row seat to all the stress he's been going through over the last year. He has a lot of liabilities, and just like B.I.G. said, more money, more problems. You have his ex-wife, Nicole. His divorce with her is still hanging over his head, although you have a lot of people that said Dre is winning. Technically, when it comes to that spousal support order, Dre, like his lawyer said before, he was okay with paying the $300,000 per month, but I'm just not sure if he was okay with doing it until she remarried or passed away. I don't think everyone is aware that they're divorced. It is not over. The case continues, and there hasn't been a final judgment. So Nicole and her attorneys, they are still fighting over Dre's $800 million that he's worth. We also know that Dre has a lot of kids. That is often cited in news reports about his kids from his previous relationships before the marriage and even after. But it's funny how no one ever brings up Nicole's son that she had before she met Dre. Her first son was with her first husband, the NBA player. So Dre not only took her from her ex-husband, whose career was declining at the time, but he also took in her child. Dre adopted Nicole's first child. But no one ever mentions this because the woman is always supposed to be viewed as perfect in the media, but it's okay for all of us to talk about the man and criticize him instead. So not only is Dre dealing with his stepkid from Nicole, but they had their own kids together. And then he also has to deal with all of his other outside kids, like this one that he had before Nicole, his oldest daughter. Her name is Latanya, and she's making headlines again. About a year and a half ago, Latanya opened up to a media publication discussing her relationship with her father, saying that she hadn't seen him in over a decade and a half. At that time, Dre was still paying all of her bills and giving her a monthly allowance. But when she decided to come out and talk about him to the media, he cut her off 100%. So ever since then, Latanya, she's been having a pretty hard time. And she's back in the media again, telling everybody that Dre is refusing to give her money. Keep in mind that this is a 38-year-old woman. So let's go ahead and get into this article that was published on yahoo.com. The title, Dr. Dre's oldest daughter homeless and said he refuses to help her. I'm noticing here that throughout the article, she referred to Dr. Dre's daughter as Latonya Johnson, but her name is Latanya Young. She did share her birth certificate with the Daily Mail, and it confirmed that she is 38 years old. Dr. Dre's name is on the birth certificate. He was 17 years old when she was born, and her mother was 15-year-old Lisa Johnson. Lisa and Dr. Dre had 3 daughters together, but Latanya, the one we're talking about right now, Latanya Young, is the oldest daughter. Dr. Dre's oldest daughter has shared that she is currently homeless and not receiving any help from her hip-hop mogul father. Latonya Johnson, 35, told the Daily Mail that she is living out of a rental car and doing Uber Eats, DoorDash, and working a warehouse job to make ends meet. She said her father, who is worth $800 million, was helping her financially, but he abruptly stopped helping her in January 2020 because she has spoken to the media about him. His lawyer has said that my dad doesn't want to help me because I've spoken about him in the press, she said. I feel like I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. Johnson says she has continually tried to reach out to him, but cannot do so personally and has to go through his team. Johnson hasn't seen her father in 18 years. Even when he was hospitalized due to having a brain aneurysm in January 2020, Johnson said trying to see if he was okay was like pulling teeth. Johnson, who moved from Las Vegas to California in hopes of finding a better job, said due to her financial struggles, she has fallen behind in her rental car payments and fears she will lose the car soon. The car is a pretty penny, she said. It's an SUV that costs $2,300 for 3 weeks, and I only pay for 1 week. Sooner or later, they're going to take the car. Johnson, who is a single mother of 4, said due to her current hardships, her 4 children are currently staying with friends as she tries to gain some stability. Her teenage children are well aware of who their grandfather is, and Johnson said they can't believe that he won't help her or build a relationship. I'm just trying to communicate with him and see if he wants to talk to his grandkids, she added. My kids are old enough to know who he is. They are in shock that he doesn't want anything to do with them. You know, it was very difficult reading that because all I see is a bunch of lies and manipulation. First off, this article was written by none other than the same feminist who worked for Madame Noir and wrote the last article that Yahoo published about Dre whenever it was announced that he had to pay Nicole that money. You remember the article that I showed on here? And I said it was one of the most popular articles about that topic written by a black woman. And the title of the article, it said The Big Payback. So you know these feminists, they are in a gender war, and corporate media enlisted them to fight black men constantly on their huge platforms. They get upset every day with smaller media that correct what they say on a daily basis. Lots of lies told by this feminist, so let me go ahead and clear some of it up. Dr. Dre's daughter is not 35 years old. She is 38 years old. She was born in 1983. Every other publication, they correctly reported her age at 38 years old. But this woman said 35, and that was not a misprint. She did that on purpose. That's because 38 is close to 40. So she's trying to gain more sympathy for Dr. Dre's daughter by making it seem like she's actually younger than what she is. But to me, I think it's pathetic either way, whether she was 35 or 38. But that's just one trick she pulled there. They made sure to mention that Dr. Dre was worth $800 million. That's because most people who will read this, they'll say, well, he has so much money, why wouldn't he help his daughter? Well, he was helping his daughter, even though he didn't have a good relationship with her because he split up with her mom when she was about 5 years old. And you already know that his other baby mamas, they were all very mad when Dre moved on to Nicole Young. They all resented him and they transferred those feelings into their kids. But my point here is, even though they didn't have a good relationship, Dre continued to take care of this woman for years. She wasn't working, she wasn't doing anything. She was just living off of Dre's money. He only cut her off when she got too comfortable and decided she was going to go badmouth him to the media. She knows the real reason why her dad cut her off, but she'll never tell the media the truth. But this is what happens when you have rebellious children, entitled children, who believe that you owe them no matter what they do or what they say, and you always have to put up with them. And then she says she rented an SUV that cost $2,300 for 3 weeks, but she only paid for 1 week. If you're so broke, why would you go and rent the most expensive car? That's because she never really intended to pay for anything. She wanted to shame her father instead into getting him to pay for it. So she never really planned things or think things through because she wanted to be able to fall back on her dad. Then it says she's a single mother of 4. Latanya's 4 kids. Well, the youngest is 3 years old. The oldest is about 16. So even up until 3 years ago, she was still having babies, no man, no husband. She can't keep a man around, and that's why she's talking all in this article as if Dre is her baby daddy. She said that her kids can't believe that Dre won't help her or build a relationship. Does that sound familiar? It sounds like any other old bitter baby mama who would talk bad about their dad in front of the kids. She said, I'm just trying to communicate with him and see if he wants to talk to his grandkids. That's a lie. He obviously does not want to communicate with you, Latanya, and you know it. And because he's not communicating with you, he is not communicating with grandkids. You don't care how he's doing. You don't care if he has a relationship with anybody. You need money. So you want to get him on the phone so you can force him to give you money. And because he won't give you the money, you decided to go to the media to get them to put out these hit pieces that make you look like a poor little kid and paints the picture of Dre being this horrible father that won't take care of his baby girl. This lady is almost 40 years old. She won't do anything for herself even after Dre has taken care of her all of her life. Just another rebellious child who grew up to be a bitter baby mama, and because her father is a wealthy man, she's not only trying to hold him accountable for her, but she wants him to be accountable for her kids too because she failed to choose the right father for them. So let's go ahead and get the conversation started below. Should Dre be responsible for taking care of his 38-year-old daughter and his grandkids? And is he wrong for cutting her off for going to the media on him? Shout out to LaMarcus, Dark Power, and Philip. Thank you all for supporting this channel. If you like the content on this channel and you want to see more, you can support as well. The Cash App is below in the description. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis on topics like this? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.